Hi, welcome to Enlighten with Sunlighten. So excited to have you all here today. I am Connie Zack, one of the owners of Sunlighten, and I get to have my special guest, Brian Vaszily, who is the founder of Anti-Aging. He has been a prominent leader, researcher, and advocate in natural health and wellness for over 20 years. He started the popular health destination, theartofantiaging.com, and his mission is to empower those 30 and beyond to have the resources to have the most effective evidence-based natural solutions to look and feel their best. Brian is also the founder of puritywoods.com, which is one of the world's only providers of premier quality and fully USDA certified organic anti-aging skincare products. Welcome, Brian. So happy to have you.
Hi, Connie. How are you?
I am great. Before we get started really with our main conversation today and helping our listeners, viewers, learn more about anti-aging, I'd love to hear your story of what led you to found the Art of Anti-Aging. And then I'd love to hear the story about Purity Woods as well.
Sounds good. Thank you for the warm introduction, by the way. So that could be a really long story that takes up an entire discussion. And I won't let it
give you the highlights.
I won't let it happen. So, well, I'm 50 years old, and you can pretty much slice my years down the middle. The first 25 or so years of my life were pretty rough. And this story can also get emotional if I let it. But, long story short, I went through a lot earlier in life, and I'm pretty forthright about this. I hope you don't mind, but, my dad was a good man until about the age of my 9. He turned very alcoholic because he himself, back in those days, you didn't deal with heavy stuff by going to counselors or things like that. It just was, it wasn't, thank goodness it's so much more accepted today for folks. So unfortunately, he became very alcoholic after dealing with, amazing life he had, but also some really hard stuff in his own life, and kind of became, abusive, to my family. So that was probably the hardest part of the early years. But in addition, I grew up in a rough Chicago neighborhood, lost friends to gangs, all kinds of things. So I'll really encapsulate this by saying I went through a lot in younger years, and was a very young father myself. I had to sell a CD collection just to keep lights on when I was, only 20 years old, for my family, my kids, what have you. So the reason I'm sitting here today alive, much less also thriving, is because of powerful women in my life who really held me up and carried me through in some marvelous ways. Certainly a wonderful mother, back then, still today, a wonderful sister. Now here in later years, fantastic, wonderful wife, but back then also some great teachers who were, all female. So now, as you kindly noted, I've been in natural health research and wellness for 20 plus years now, and have worked with many of the names that everyone knows and helped them in big ways, a lot of the doctors or what have you. So I've been around this for years, and I was at a crossroads in my life where, I was like, wow, I have all this knowledge, all this access to these amazing experts, and all these people who are bringing new ideas, or very ancient ideas in some cases, to light or back to light. But I was also watching as, these powerful women who'd been so core and are so core to my life, as they were hitting their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, were confronting this frankly, overpowering often myth that as you get older, getting older equals becoming undesirable and incapable and, doomed to suffering and disease. And as the joke goes, when you hit your 40s, you're over the hill. And I'm like, I saw the horrible power of that message. Men too, but it especially hits women. And I'm like, but that does, and it did not jibe. It was in direct contradiction to what all I had learned over the years and decades, because these ought to be the best years of people's lives in all respects. And that's not true about you're doomed to disease and doomed to suffering as you get old. No, that's not the truth. It's quite the contrary. and we can go deep in all this, but we're meant to live longer. Even than we do today, far longer than we do today. And we're meant to feel like we're thriving. And it's in part because of these nonsense myths that women especially don't. And I said, okay, you know what? I have access to these experts. I honor women tremendously. I'm going to pull this forward. And that, long story short, there was the start of the art of anti-aging.
Wow, what an amazing story. I didn't know all of that. And I love your use, I have to say. I'm a real big, huge believer in the power of positivity, and especially when it comes to words. And I love you're using your choice of thrive. That's such a beautiful word, and it gives such positive energy to what you're doing. So that's the backstory to the art of anti-aging. Can you give us a story of Purity Woods?
Sure. I appreciate that too. Yeah. Words are important, by the way. You're right. Yeah.
They are. They make a huge difference.
They absolutely do. Purity Woods, kind of generated out of that very same story. So over the art of anti-aging, we're focused on providing people the most effective, non-toxic, non-drug, non-surgery approaches. We certainly love, your saunas, for example, and I've shared them with our audience, for example, amongst other great protocols that people can do, and a lot of information, just really about how, here we go, to thrive, which they ought to be doing in these years. So the story of Purity Woods is that as I hit these years that I'm in now, I started to, here's the real detail on the story. I started to notice crow's feet around my own eyes and some stuff. I'm like, okay, what can I do? My wife is a cosmetologist. We went searching for a very clean, and we'll get into all this, very clean and effective product for ourselves. And really long story short, because that was quite the hunt, we couldn't find one. I found nothing. I found, other types of products like deodorants that are great, that are clean and truly clean and great, but I could not find one. And I've done so much research on this, so really long story short here, we created it working with, expert formulators based out of Canada. We created it. We were our first customers. It worked wonders. And then, there's a lot in that story too. I mean, there's modifications and stuff like that. But long story short, we said, hey, we're going to present this to other people because it's just a fantastic product. And so, Purity Woods, when people go to Purity Woods, they're not going to see a wide variety of products. And that's by intention. What we're focused on is making sure that these things truly are the absolute best with research-based ingredients and also super clean, like you noted, USDA certified. Not easy to do, believe me. So there's instead a handful of exceptional products there. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing. And I also want, it's a good time to make sure and let everybody who's listening or watching know that, feel free to ask any questions. I will make sure and do my best to get Brian's perspective and insights on anything that's on your mind, because we are here. We do this series with you, our viewers in mind. So this is 100% for you, and we want to make sure that you come out more inspired and more educated and thriving a little bit better than you were before you started this. So I want to touch back to Purity Woods for a second, because you said when you were describing how you were searching for products that were clean, what, for somebody like myself who would not be familiar with that term, somebody who uses different products, what does that mean? Like what is clean? I'm sure it means like non-toxic, but can you give us some examples of what you were looking for to have products maybe that were free of certain types of ingredients?
Sure. This is where food was at maybe the food you put in your mouth was at 15, 20 years ago in terms of knowledge. It's kind of where we're at with cosmetics and personal care products today. Those of us who've been in this, we're certainly well aware of it, but I know that most people have no idea just how toxic most of these products are and why it's, in my estimation, along with toxins in the air, it's the number one problem in terms of, widespread health issues. And this will come out more and more, but that we're facing today, because this actually, when I talk to people about this, I say, remember this: when you're pushing that grocery cart down the cosmetics aisle, the personal care products aisle, you're pushing it down a food aisle. People don't think about it like that because they tend to think of their skin as, something to experiment on almost and play with. But what your skin is the largest organ in your body. It's arguably the top line part of your immune defense system, and it eats. And these products that you're putting on your skin are loaded, most of them, with toxic and synthetic chemicals, which, all you got to do is back away from that and think about that a moment. Like, well, you're not supposed to feed your body that, but these things are designed to penetrate your skin. So the science of it, real short version is anything you apply to your skin, if the molecules are small enough, they will penetrate. And what happens is they go directly to your bloodstream, which of course sends it throughout the organs in your body, right? When that happens, it's not a good thing with so many of these chemicals. Now, why? We could delve into this in more detail, but it's a good question. I'll say this: in the United States of America, the cosmetic and personal care products are the most unregulated industry there is. And I'm going to bounce all over the place here, but the last time there was any substantial regulation was back in 1938 by the FDA. And back then they basically said, self-regulate personal care products industry. So they're on, so it's an anything goes Wild West atmosphere right now. And when people pick up that product, again, whether it's an anti-aging cream or a deodorant or a perfume for them, any of these things, and they see all these long 48-letter words and stuff like that, you should be concerned.
So maybe if you can help us with the ingredients that are so good that you have found for Purity Woods that people can resonate with, so they say, oh wow, okay, this is something that I would eat, or that it would be good for my skin. Can you share some?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a great metaphor because again, you literally could eat the ingredients. And that's a funny thing you say, because one more word on the toxic ingredients is in many cases, you would rather eat them through your mouth than feeding them through your body, through your skin, because at least your mouth, your digestive system has some, we'll call them shields or filters in place, like your liver, to weed out some of the toxins that are in many foods today. Your skin has none. So on the flip side, what are some great ingredients? One of the most effective that was discovered in recent years, University of Rhode Island, I think it was in 2018, are good old, they come from good old North American maple trees. Maple leaf extracts are exceptional for your skin. A lot of people have, we'll narrow this down. There's basically in the second layer of your skin, two aspects that contribute to whether your skin's going to look great and also just, to some extent your health. That's collagen, which everybody's heard about, lately over the last couple of years. And then the other one that's equal, if not more important, that you don't hear about as much is elastin. And these two, they're proteins, they work together. And I equate it to a mattress. Think about a mattress on your bed. You've got springs inside of the mattress, and then you've got all the padding. Now, collagen is kind of like the padding in your skin. And certainly, if it's not healthy and starts to deteriorate, it'll get bumpy, and you can, see it on the skin. Elastin is more like the springs themselves. And when they go, your skin really, it looks far older than it ought to look. Let's just put it that way. So these maple leaf extracts, particularly red maple leaf extract, they found that this, now these scientists, not me saying, but these scientists called it a plant-based Botox. I'm like, whoa, that's powerful. And it really does work like that because it blocks something called elastase, which contributes to the decline of elastin, so that your elastin is healthy. And it's a fantastic ingredient. Now that's just one, and I could go on and geek out on this all day long. Now on the flip side with collagen, now people have heard more about that. But it's not really a matter of eating, collagen. I mean, that's a different discussion. You know, putting it in your body and then eating it, will that contribute at all? What you really want to do, your body naturally produces collagen, and you want to boost, enable that inside of your skin. So there are high potency vitamin C ingredients that do that feed your skin. And again, you literally, just the same way eating it, is also beneficial. So eat your oranges and your citrus fruits, for healthier skin. You also want to feed your skin high vitamin C ingredients. Now, some of those, are some of the highest are camu fruit. There's one called Indian gooseberry, mango seed extract. These are superbly high in the right type of vitamin C that can penetrate your skin and contribute. And I could still go on, Connie, if you want more, because I geek out on this, like I said.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So back to camu, like where can people find those types, and as well as the maple, what did you call it? Maple leaf
extracts. Yeah.
So tell us more, because I'm not familiar myself with those specific ingredients. So if I wanted to, go.
Well, I think good question. What's exciting for us at Purity Woods is in the United States, still, as I understand it, we're if not the only, certainly the most prominent to offer the products with the maple leaf extracts. It's a little more known in Canada, I think, because that's the heart of maple leaf country. But yeah, so our, these ingredients I just named are indeed in one of our products called the Age, our signature product, if you will, the one that everyone raves about is the Age Defying Dream Cream. So they're certainly in that. I don't know if you can find the maple leaf extracts, on their own anywhere else yet here in the United States. I do know if you weren't interested in Purity Wood products and you wanted to go try to find it yourself and piece these together, it's certainly possible. And you could find camu extracts, you can find mango seed butter, all these pieces. But again, in this dream cream that we have, that was part and parcel to the process of discovering all these best ingredients and putting them together there. So if you're interested, for anyone, I would start with the Age Defying Dream Cream on our site. The other products are great, don't get me wrong, and there's not a lot of them. There's a serum that utilizes some of the same ingredients, but all I'm saying is the Dream Cream is like the starting point. If you're just going to use one thing, that's, it would be the recommended item.
Well, that was worth tuning in. For anybody who's listening, that was worth just logging on. So, and I have tried, I just started, so I don't have a ton of experience, but the Dream Cream, as well as I really like the serum. I don't remember the name of it, but
the Elastin Boost serum. And I'm glad you like that. I'll make a comment on that too now. So those two really work together. And if you're going to use one thing, it's the Dream Cream, you kind of, because it hits all the bases. If you have especially a problem with, and this is only one, or even if you don't have a problem, the serum's fantastic. But if you do have a problem with, parts on your skin where it's loose, looser, or you have, wrinkles or fine lines that are just really bothersome, let's say, totally recommend the serum, because in that product, these maple leaf extracts are the top ingredient. It's like turning it up, as high as the volume can go for those purposes. So I'm glad to hear you like that. Thanks.
Yes. Yeah. I like the texture. There's some products that just, they just don't feel as, they feel just like they have other things in it that, wouldn't necessarily want on my skin. They just don't feel as clean and pure. I can't think of a better word. Yeah. And both those products feel very, very clean and pure and feel good on the skin. So I didn't know the backstory behind it, and now I can't wait to use them again and to put because the Dream Cream specifically is for the nighttime, right?
Yeah. And if you're going to use both, and again, that's the most effective route in terms of if you want, the fastest results, of course, and you can apply both at night, both in the morning. So chose, I use it once a day, in the evening, both. And you typically want to, put, as I think many people know this, many women especially know this, that you want to put your lighter products on, and then if you're putting more than one, start with the lightest consistency and then move to the heaviest. So in that case, it would be serum and then the cream, whether it's evening or morning or both. Ideal. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I'd like to switch a little bit. We talked a lot about skin, but we started talking about food, and that's one of my favorite topics of all times.
Yeah.
And I can't get enough information about just food specifically and how it connects to aging. I just think it's so fascinating of which products are, really great, to eat to fight aging. And I'd love to hear, you've done so much research and talked to so many experts. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on the top, let's just call it like you said with the cream, if you're going to do one thing, do you use the cream? With foods, if we could just talk about the top types of foods that you would recommend that through research are the best for fighting the aging process.
Right. It's my little segue into that. When we talk about, looking younger, I think some people, get guilty or angry about that. And the whole point is not to try to look if you're 45 like you're 21. I think that's demeaning, because I think women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond are the most beautiful women. What's happening, though, because of things not only like our diet, but certainly our diet, is that by and large, safely can say most people are prematurely aging today. And so, the good news is your skin is incredibly receptive to change, probably more than any other part of your body. It happens quickly if you start doing better things for it, which is nice. And in most cases, most people can be far younger looking, meaning looking as young as they ought to look, at their age. By the way, you have great skin. That's a side note. You really do.
The dream cream and the and the
sauna. So, to answer that question, it's as much about what you don't allow in as what you do put in. And, I think a lot of folks have heard this, just in case you haven't. I mean, reduce the sugar for sure. Sugar ages you, all the same things almost that harm your health in other ways harm your skin, because real beauty, including great looking skin, is all about what you're not feeding it and what you're feeding it, whether you're feeding it, like we talked about before, through the skin or through your mouth, right? So avoid the sugar, reduce, if not, try to cut out as much as possible your processed foods, and eat whole and healthy. Now, I mentioned vitamin C. Not only is it great to feed that, through, product through your skin, it's great to eat it. It's a, you're again, the collagen side of the skin loves the fact that it's getting vitamin C. It's boosting that collagen and contributing to great looking skin. So, there's all kinds of specific fruits. Many of us know which ones, and vegetables, of course, we all think of oranges, mangoes, and all those good things. Those are great for your skin. Some surprising ones that people don't think about necessarily that are wonderful for skin are onions. Onions are fantastic, in many regards. And
does it matter on the onions? Does it matter if they're raw or cooked or caramelized, or is it just onions in general?
Well, the best it does. You can here's the thing with onions. And this, by the way, it's no minor positive side effect. But the same advice I'm about to tell you also will help you avoid cancer, because onions are some of the most fantastic vegetables out there for cancer prevention, and for similar reasons, in some cases the same reasons, they're fantastic for your skin. So good question you asked me. With onions, you do actually want to the ideal is to make sure you chop them. Now, you could cook them then, or you could eat them raw, but you want to make sure you chop them, because it's releasing, some of the compounds that work their magic in your body, versus, say, taking a whole onion and just cooking it in a pot. You're still getting some, good benefits, but not the best benefits out of the onion. So what really matters is, not necessarily raw or cooked, but chop those things up. Then, whether you eat them however you eat them, on a taco or in a salad or in a soup or whatever you do, then it's going to be highly effective.
Well, that's great information. You talked about how so many women, and specifically, are actually prematurely aging. Speak more to what you mean by that, and what are some of the things that they're doing that they may not know they're doing that are causing aging prematurely, because nobody wants that.
No, no. And like I said again, the very good news is that the skin is the most receptive, or one of the most receptive parts of your body and your being to when you start making positive changes and moving away from some of these negatives. And what's interesting, Connie, about beautiful skin is I think we've been trained as a society by some mighty powerful industries to think it's about skin beauty is about chemicals and surgeries, and all that type of stuff. But the most marvelous news is that the very same things you do, that you put inside of you, that will help you in other ways, are going to help your skin. Conversely, the very same things you're doing that you probably heard elsewhere that harm your health will also contribute to early aging skin. So, I mentioned processed foods. I mentioned, sugar. Most people know, the heavy duty fried food. Do I even have to go there? If I do, I will. You don't, fried foods are not good for healthy looking skin. Exercise contributes tremendously to beautiful skin, in a big way.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, because that's, I think sometimes it's counterintuitive as you age, especially as you get a lot older, where it becomes more difficult to exercise. And it's really important for people to understand the connection. So if maybe you can expand on that, I would really appreciate it, because I really want people to embrace the connection, between exercise and movement and anti-aging, because there is such a connection.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many directions I can go on that, on why. I'm fortunate. Again, I'm 50 and I still have a grandmother who's alive. She's going on 101. She's about to turn 101 shortly. And I want, not too many years, I think 2 years ago, I said, Grandma, what would you say is the number one secret? And she said, keep moving, keep moving. And it's a powerful statement, because we are not meant to do what we're doing right now with, sitting too much. We all, that's one of the, biggest keys I would tell people is get up, get up, keep moving around. If like you do and I do, of course, we have a lot of work online and on our computers. Get up frequently, move around. Exercise, sure, it's good. High intensity exercise is great for you in many respects, but it doesn't have to be that. It's good if you can move in that direction and you've got a body that allows you to do that without severe, joint issues and stuff. But do your long walks, do all these sorts of things. First of all, in a very physical regard, all you got to do is think about it. And if you're strengthening your muscles, and I don't mean, you don't have to pump and have 12-inch biceps or something, 12 inches is not that much. But anyway, you don't have to have big biceps, right? That's not the point, unless you want it to be the point. But the point is toning those muscles, which is only done through movement, exercise, brisk exercise like fast walks. You're going to have better looking skin when you have toned muscles. Obvious why. I mean, we can look physically at this. If I have weak muscles, my skin's going to sag. If I have toned muscles, it's not going to sag. So, there's so many different reasons on a much deeper level than that, beyond the muscles. The movement, the exercise in so many ways affects us at a cellular level in our bodies. And, it's healthy. Our cells love it. And they, I'm trying to make this a metaphor, and they're saying thank you, and they respond in kind with beautiful skin, and not to mention a healthy body and a healthier immune system and all the other benefits as well.
I love the keep moving. That's another thing that those of you who are watching or listening, that is such a wonderful, wise, simple statement for people to remember. And it doesn't have to be 5K, it doesn't have to be a marathon. It just keep moving, keep breathing, just take care of yourself. And motion, what was it I heard from a girlfriend of mine here, who's a doctor, I'll think of it. She had a great phrase that had to do with motion, and I'll get back to it. And if not, I'll post it on our Instagram page. Is by Dr. Michelle Robin, who's a local chiropractor here in Kansas City. But it was when she said it, I was like, yes, it's like all about moving and momentum and staying active, and it's good for the mind and the body. So speaking of the mind, you recently did a brain summit, right?
I didn't, but I have had I had a lot of superbly, high-standing brain experts in it. That was part of the component. Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So you're connected to a lot of experts that have knowledge on ice. I think, right now I've never really seen such a more important time in my life where the brain, the mind, just this up here, right, is so important to the rest of our health and well-being, because people are there's some people that are spiraling out of control, or people that are just the negative mind chatter. I mean, there's so many stories, as I'm sure you know. So on with your experts that you're connected to regarding to the brain and the mind, what are some of the things you have learned, or any tips you can give the people who are watching on ways to keep that brain, that mind healthy, as it relates to really, I don't really, in this regard, it's really not connected for me to aging.
Yeah.
It's really more about thriving and living your best life and being in the present. And so I would love to hear any insights that you've learned or things that you can pass along.
Absolutely. Yeah. These are great questions. And boy, these are some fascinating and important strides are being made on the front of your brain, in part, propelled by, this great rise in Alzheimer's and other dementia. So a lot of good is coming out of attention really being focused on that by these brilliant people out there. They've found that when I was young, there was this, widespread myth. Maybe you recall this, that, you can't get any new brain cells, when they're gone, so don't deplete them. Well, that's not true. That was interesting to hear. You can do a lot to regenerate, the cells, including in your brain. That's good news. For people, because that's essential to clarity and thinking. And, so here's one of the most interesting things, and it's not just in the brain, but it's very pertinent to how to keep your brain healthy, is embrace certain kinds of stress. That sounds weird because we think of stress, and certainly we don't want chronic stress where we feel overwhelmed. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is the brain grows and thrives on shock, almost surprise, and novel experiences. And we tend, as we could tend, let me talk like that, we could tend as we get older to get caught in ruts. This is our, habits. This is what we do day in and day out. And, probably you live a more challenging, current environment in our world today, but don't let yourself do that. If I was saying one thing to folks, in a physical sense, in a mental sense, keep that brain stimulated in the sense of learning new things, trying new things, because it contributes to your clarity much later in life and memory much later in life. Novel experiences. It could be trying to learn certainly a language or an instrument, but it doesn't have to be, that's great. But it doesn't have to be that necessarily complex or long term. Traveling new places, reading about completely new things that are outside of your realm. Any type of novel experience literally can improve and transform the physical structure of your brain and keep it sharp and on the edge. I'm sure you've heard there's a lot going on with the fact that certain types of stress, like I mentioned in other regards, are really healthy for us. In fact, I know you must know this very well, because heat is obviously one of those. Part of the reason a sauna is so important is because, and again, this way better than I do, but in Nordic countries, it's part and parcel to the tradition and the health for eons, is because of that same shock to the system. And there's even a genetic level I can go on to all that, but that's a short answer.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really great point. I have never thought of, and I talk a lot, in the Sunlighten world about heat shock proteins and the value of, when you're sitting inside of Sunlighten and you increase your core temperature, you're essentially creating a fever, right, without disease. So you're shocking the body to have to respond to that. And that shock is so valuable and makes your body come back so much stronger. No different than if you're, lifting weights and you're changing, your fibers in your body, and you're doing things to change and transform yourself into a better you. I have never heard of it in the state of the brain, which I think is phenomenal.
Yep.
Because it is ironic, because I think a lot of people, as they age, they get more set into the routines than anybody. Like, that's when they become, they do the same thing over and over again. And the value of changing that routine and introducing something new and traveling. I feel like all I've done this year with COVID is learn something.
Yeah.
I've taken up a new sport, and I've learned how to garden, and I'm learning how to golf, and I've learned, the list goes on and on and on. It's crazy what I've done to myself, the choices I have made. But as you say that, I'm like, well, that's really interesting, because I do feel sharper. I do feel just more awake and more, more like thriving, back to that wonderful word, and younger, another great word that people want to feel. And so it may be because everywhere I turn, I am, I think I'll learn that, and I think I'll do that, I'll plant that. So that's really fascinating. And I hope people really take that whole.
It's a shock to the system is a good thing. One of the most interesting and certainly learned folks that I had in my previous summit, David Sinclair, he's a super renowned Harvard researcher, and I'm really going to oversimplify. He's a friend too. He might even kick me for oversimplifying to this extent. But when you shock the system in different ways, whether it's experiences like we're talking about through your brain, through cold water and then heat and a sauna, all these sorts of things, basically you're telling your body, don't get too comfortable. Keep producing and doing what you got to do. When you let your body get too comfortable, your body is basically getting the message, hey, we're okay. We don't have to go into fight mode. We don't have to worry about this. We're all good and comfortable, man. Let's chill out. This is how I'm oversimplifying it, but this is really in effect what happens, and that creates early aging. That opens the door to disease, because there's nothing to worry about when your body's challenged with a new experience. It's riveted, or you take a really cold shower briefly, even if it's uncomfortable, your body's like, wait a minute, defense is up. We better, and it keeps you younger, literally. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, and I think we need to get past that, it's hard mentality. I just feel that even if we just do it for a little bit, like the cold, I'm in the hot business, and I'm in the hot business for a reason. I love our product, and I use it all the time. And I'm really, really, truly passionate about how it works in the body and how it makes you healthier. With all that said, I'm also passionate about being the healthiest person I can be and leaving this world a healthier place. And if shocking it in the reverse with cold, can do that, the first thing I think of is, I don't like cold. But if it can help my body, or if it's, if it can do something, then put your body into that position to do that. Same thing with learning a new skill or learning a new task, or people, oh gosh, that's hard, or I don't want to get out of my routine because then I'm going to get uncomfortable. Well, getting uncomfortable is the best way to be better. And because it's not forever, right? It's just temporary.
Absolutely.
So I love all of these insights, and I see all of the questions, and we're going to get to them in just, really quickly. I do have one more of my own personal questions, and then I'll take the questions that are there. I read a post about, I think that you put about Chlorella, about just the powers of Chlorella. And I would just love you to be able to share.
Sure. Yeah. And here I'll say I'm not a deep, I don't have a deep chemical knowledge on that like I do on other things, but indeed, it's one of the simplest life forms, basically. And, like algae, it's I mean, I can go out in kind of all kinds of directions on this too, but it has profound benefits for your health. Now that's, part and parcel of the fact that it's so tied to our biology. Are you looking for chlorella down there somewhere?
No, I would be great if I could find Chlorella. I have so many questions. I'm looking at.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like as we're talking, people are typing, so I was just trying to make sure.
Yeah, I'll just say it's one of the world's healthiest foods because let me sum it up this way. I mean, some of these ancient foods, and that's about as ancient as it gets. And I can start getting into epigenetics with this, but it's genetic. It's food essentially for your genetics because it's so ancient in our bodies, which is why it produces, such fantastic results. I'm just curious, do you take chlorella, spirulina, the algae?
No, I don't. And that's one of the things, like when I was reading about it and I read, about it in the past. No, I don't do, just in general. I don't do a lot of supplement. Like I'm a real purist.
Call that a supplement, I know people think about it as a supplement, but that is true food. It's not easy to get. Right? You can't go to the grocery store.
Yeah. What I meant by that was like things that are outside kind of my core,
Yeah.
So it's not something I have introduced. Avocados is something a couple years ago I introduced into my routine of. I love avocado, and I didn't used to. So it's like that's one of the things that I just decided. You know what? I cannot read enough articles about the value of that, and so I started. And now, I could have an avocado every single day.
Me too. With spirulina, chlorella, these various, algae. What I was going to say, last thing I'll say on that is, it's one of the few foods that, especially if you hadn't done it before and you start consuming a good, again, it's very important to get a clean source of it. You feel the difference. Like in terms of energy levels and stuff so quickly. So, just a little side note there, because I had gotten out of it for a while and then I went back to it and I'm like, boom, wow, what a difference it made. Again, because it is fundamental food. So yeah, anyway.
And so, and again, this will be the last thing I ask about chlorella, but would you recommend it does it matter, I guess, how you take it? Like, does it matter if you have put it into a shake or if you like?
It does. I mean, if you're taking it versus not, and again, it's just a clean source. I always stress this because just like other foods out there and these foods for the skin I talked about where they could be and are tainted with chemicals and, pesticides and all this other stuff too. Try for an organic source, try for the cleanest source you can. That said, when you're doing that and you're taking it anyway, it's way better than not taking it all. There are some better forms. I wish I could remember, there's a company, you're asking me about this. I'm not tied to this business at all, but it happens to be right in front of me. And I'm sorry, but I have to plug it because yes, my favorite is this company, Energy Bits, right here. It's called Energy Bits. It's funny you say because I happen to have this right. Anyway, it comes in these little tiny tablets that are easy to swallow, which is why most people think of it as a supplement. They're not the only one out there, but theirs is really clean. So, they're one organization I like for that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Tips like that is what because, in order to incorporate it into your, daily routine, for me, I'll just speak for myself. The last thing I want to do is spend a ton of time when somebody else has already spent a ton of time, somebody I respect like yourself, who already knows kind of, the places to go. And so your recommendations are, so extremely valuable. So
Yeah,
thank you
thanks.
for that.
And by the way, if you're wondering how I pulled it off my desk, I keep, certain supplements I take right here next to me, partly because it just reminds me to take them. Here's another, I'm not going to show you the brand on this because it's just from a grocery store, but these are cloves, like the kind that you cook with. Most people think
Yeah.
of Thanksgiving. And this is my latest kick. Just get, again, a clean source of cloves that you might cook with. But what I discovered about cloves is amazing. Pure side note, you asked me about some of the best foods for skin and health. These things are actually if not one of the most antioxidant rich foods there are on the whole planet. These little cloves. And in India, they routinely just chew them. And I started doing that. It takes a little getting used to because it's pretty strong flavor. And by the way, it also freshens your breath. But that's just another little tip I want to give people, that cloves are superb for your health. And all you got to do is chew a couple a day if you're able to do that. There's also clove teas and stuff if you're not able to do that. So sorry, I just saw what's on my desk and I thought that's a bonus.
I feel like I've had so many bonuses.
Yeah.
So I need to answer some people's questions. So one of the questions is, do environmental toxins increase aging?
Of course. Absolutely. Yes. Good question. Whoever asked that. There's when you think about it and really narrow it down, there's three ways your body eats: through your mouth, through your skin, and through what you breathe. Those are essentially it. And again, I will say to you that environmental toxins are right there with the toxins you're putting on, feeding your skin, the ones that you're breathing in terms of the worst. They're worse than food toxins because there are no barriers either. Just like there's no barriers between your skin. When something gets in your skin, it goes right in your blood and it's sent. And think about how often the average woman uses 12 personal care products a day, of which the average is 168 different chemicals.
Oh my goodness!
Okay. Now, in the European Union, 1,300 give or take chemicals have been banned from personal care products. Here in the United States, just 11. Okay. That's a whole nother story about why. I could talk about that. What's going on with the industry. It's a very powerful industry, is long story short. So when you're doing that, it's going straight into your organs, your bloodstream, and think about it. You're doing it day after day after day. You're putting deodorant on or skin cream on, maybe with these toxins. Sure, it's a minute amount, but it adds up over time. Same thing with the ones you're breathing through the environment, through the air, especially in your homes, as I think a lot of people have heard. It's true. The EPA says the air inside homes, they found, could be up to 100 times more toxic than the air outside. If you're able to, you don't have allergies, open your windows as often as possible, by the way. But same thing with those toxins in the air, no barrier. There's no liver in the way. So it's going straight in your lungs and straight into your body. So it contributes to early aging. To answer that question, it contributes to all kinds of serious diseases. And the more you can do to reduce that, the merrier.
Yes. And just to build, one of the things that we have here at Sunlighten, that we have actually a big, huge poster downstairs at our beautiful day spa called Sunlight Day Spa, is purify the body and the skin will follow.
Yep.
And
so
and that is all about skin or body purification through using our Sunlighten infrared saunas, and then at the deep level, pushing out the impurities. And then you get this beautiful glow. And then we also have near infrared that affects the skin on the topical level to regenerate the skin. So you can get two different types of benefits. But ultimately, I mean, both the near infrared and far infrared are equally important. There's something that is, as far as the feeling of the far infrared purification, the really detoxification at a very deep level, that makes you feel so much younger and healthier and lighter. Like whenever I get done with a Sunlighten session, I just feel I am so much clearer. My head feels better. I have more energy, and I just feel so much more powerful and ready to go fight or the next thing. So it's a great way it's a great tool to help to detoxify the body, and then your skin, you get the benefit of the skin looking good afterwards as well, just because you're getting rid of stuff at the cellular level. So
Yeah.
that's just an addition. Another question we have, Brian, is do Sunlighten saunas help with acne?
It's probably more for you, but to answer. But I will say, my answer is, I follow so much research. I'm a research geek, and I read all these dense studies and white papers. And increasingly, first of all, research is showing the amazing benefits of saunas. I mean, for reasons we've talked about, for some that we haven't even discussed, and it will, I mark my words, increasingly continue to show that. Now, let me turn the tables and just say it's like so many other things that your grandmothers and your grandmothers' grandmothers and your grandmothers' grandmothers' grandmothers and grandfathers knew, and ancient civilizations knew. Saunas are nothing new. They've been, part of the Nordic culture, for eons and elsewhere in the world too. And there's a reason. So when something lasts that long, it's usually a reason. So it's funny because when science, it's interesting. I love when science validates something, but don't wait. In some cases, you don't necessarily want to wait, for science to validate certain things. Well, it certainly has with saunas, but other things it hasn't quite yet. And where I'm going with that is that in Nordic cultures, for example, they do it not only for great skin, but also for great skin. It's because, again, in very simplified words, it does clear out a lot of the toxins from the body. It does detox the body. That's not the only situation with acne, for example, but that's certainly part of the situation. So yes, from my understanding and experience, it does. But again, you're more probably qualified, Connie, than me to answer that one. But
well, I'll just build on two different additional comments. One is, yes, just to support exactly what you said as far as the detoxification aspect. The far infrared wavelength that we use in all of our products helps to detoxify the body, get rid of the stuff that's trapped that could be contributing to the acne, could be contributing to the impurities on the skin. So that is going to help remove that and help the skin be clear. We also have a topical product that's relatively new called Lumineer. Luma stands for light, near, NIR stands for near infrared. So you put the two together and you have a near infrared light wand that is portable, and it carries the same near infrared LEDs that we have inside our wooden saunas that you can take with you. And we have a specific LED head that's interchangeable that can go on top that is designed for acne, and it's called the LumiClear. It has the blue part of the near infrared spectrum, and that blue light specifically is really great for treating rosacea and acne and different types of skin conditions. So I'm more than happy to, people want to contact me at Sunlighten to answer more questions about Lumineer. I'm more than happy to take that offline. But that's just another great solution for acne. So detoxification and topical near infrared through Lumineer would be two ways that I would recommend in a natural way to treat acne. So, and now we're starting to get low on time. This has been like the best session. I mean, it went so fast. Are there before we wrap up, are there other things that we've missed that you would really want everybody to know, as far as just kind of the top things that are in your heart about, what the work that you're doing with anti-aging or with Purity Woods?
First of all, if you're so inclined, join us at the Art of Anti-Aging. There's theartofantiaging.com. We always put a great free report if you're interested in that. But you know what, I would want to just, it's all about helping people, in this work that we do. And you brought this up earlier, and people can tend to make it seem like it's so hard or complicated. And that's part and parcel to the let's just say the world out there that kind of wants that impression, to sell all kinds of, and I'm not going to go off deep on this, but all kinds of drugs and all kinds of, products and stuff like that. There's almost this force that wants you to believe it's complicated, but it's actually rather simple. And this is the way I like, really, really simplify what good health is that it's all about what you allow inside your being and what you keep out. And that goes for everything. I mean, if you think about it, it's not just the food you're putting in your mouth. We talked about today how it's certainly, also how you're putting stuff inside your body through your skin, how you're putting in stuff inside your body through the air you breathe, how you're putting good stuff in your body when you're sitting inside of a sauna. All these things. It's also what you put inside your being by what you allow yourself to hear and see and listen to and pay attention to and not pay attention to. So first of all, I'd say kudos, really seriously, to everybody who joined this today instead of watching Maury Povich or something on TV. Is he still even on? I don't know. But my point is, obviously, folks hearing and seeing this right now already get that, probably more than the average person out there. You're exposing yourself to great insight, great knowledge. So just, it's a sacred thing. Our bodies, our minds, our spirits, all, it's a sacred thing. And it's just really about what am I going to allow inside my being, whether it's from my mouth, my eyes, my ears, my skin, and what am I going to keep out? And that really, it just amounts to that at the end of the day,
Yeah, I completely agree. And that I just want to echo that for our audience today, what I call the power of positivity, and just staying positive. And if you get too depressed or too overwhelmed or too stressed, but now we know from Brian that stress is not a bad thing, so embrace it. But if you get too far down that path, just to try and take a step back, breathe, and take it just minute by minute, and really start thinking about positive things and blessings. And I just think there's nothing more powerful than the thoughts that we put into our mind, and as well as, the things that we choose to eliminate, like you said, to not listen to and not pay attention to. So, thanks to everybody who has joined us. Brian, thank you so much. Your wisdom and insights and knowledge and energy and everything that you shared with us today, I truly, truly appreciate it. And I'm grateful that we had this time together. I do want to make sure that our listeners, we have more series planned for the rest of the year. And it's so, so valuable to us to hear from you, to know the topics that you want us to cover. And we work, for you. And so we want to make sure and get you all the information you need. So continue so you can send me directly, czach@sunlighten.com is my personal email. You can send it directly to me. You can, reach out to anybody at Sunlighten to let us know the experts or topics that you want to learn more about. We're happy to do whatever it takes to get you that information. And then we also want to let you know that we have a special offering for anybody on behalf of Brian and his company, The Art of Anti-Aging. Anybody that comes, to us by listening to this, please make sure you mention The Art of Anti-Aging, and when you do that, you'll get a special offer. And so make sure that you do that to get your special offer, your discount. Check out Purity Woods. I can't wait, like I said, to go tonight and wash my face and put on the serum, right? And then I'm going to put on the cream.
Age-defying dream cream after, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm going to do it with this newfound, love. I've really enjoyed it. But talking to you and knowing more about what I'm putting on my skin is got me really looking forward to doing that. So, and we're also offering a discount off Purity Wood products. Right now, 31% is the special offer through. Do we have an end date? No, it's on the sales page. Oh, so it just by coming in, by being connected to this, you will get 31% off. So make sure that you mention again The Art of Anti-Aging. And thank you to everyone for sharing this time with us together. And both of us wish you all the best and a day full of lots of light, love, and laughter. Thanks again, Brian, and take care. And please, anyone, don't hesitate to reach out to Sunlighten and let us know your thoughts, feedback, and going forward. Thanks, Brian.
Take care. Thank you.